Invading the internet, covering Web 2.0, coast to coast, worldwide, and everywhere in between. This is where you put the social in social media. We are Social Blade.
Oh, we are so much Social Blade, it's not even funny. We're Social Blade minus one of our lovely co-hosts, the loveliest of them all. Actually, the only one of us that is truly actually lovely, since the rest of us are dudes. I am JD Rucker, one of the hosts of the Social Blade Show.
I'm Jason Ergo.
I'm Jeff Kreider.
And tonight we are blessed and pleased to have a couple of guys who are familiar with the social media site Digg.com. If you are familiar with Digg.com, you may have heard of Lieutenant General Panda and MrBabyMan. They are occasionally featured on the front page. Sometimes their submissions have been known to hit from time to time, approximately 140 to 180 times a month between them. Gentlemen, how are you?
Doing great.
I'm doing well, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. And those who don't know, Andrew Sorcini is MrBabyMan. He is the #1 user. He's got around, I think last time I checked, he has about 65,000 front page stories. And Lieutenant General Panda is relatively new, but he is, I would say, if you look at his numbers over the past year, he's probably right there at #1 or #2, right with Andy. So there's their level, and then there's the rest of us. So they're pretty darn good. We're going to be talking about the new Digg as one of our primary talking points during the show. But for right now, let's get into some other social media wonderfulness, starting with Jeff Kreider, who has some amazing stuff written by somebody whose name I absolutely cannot pronounce. So I'll let Jeff pronounce it. Be right back.
Yeah, well, there's a podcast I listen to quite frequently. It's 6 Pixels of Separation. It's a podcast done by Mitch Joel. He's the president of Twist Image. And in this podcast, he has Avinash Kaushik, who is Google Analytics evangelist. And instead of taking the approach of talking about what makes them successful and the successes they've had and how they become successful, they take it in a different turn. They talk about the failures that they've had during their professional career and within social media, and what they learned from them and how they grew professionally and personally from it. So I thought it'd be quite interesting to open this up to all of us on the Social Blade Show and talk a little bit about what failures we've had either professionally or within social media and what we learned from them. So is the one who kind of brought this up. I guess I'll start it off. And one of the things that happened to me a couple weeks ago or a month ago is I run contests on my business's Facebook page, and this particular contest was a how-to video submission where people will submit a how-to video, people will vote on it, and the one with the most votes would win a prize, which I paid out of pocket because I at the time didn't have a budget. So had this contest running for about 2 weeks, only one submission, and it started getting to the deadline. And on the last night, someone else submitted, and it was someone who submitted a video or a satire video on texting and driving. And the next morning, I saw someone else submitted, and not wanting to just give this person an iPod Touch without having some competition, I extended the deadline for a day. Well, this created a huge storm of people taking the video of texting and driving the wrong way. How can a business promote texting and driving, condone texting and driving? And it turned into this huge PR nightmare that people were pouring in, wondering what in the world we were doing. How could we extend a contest based off of this video? And Oprah at the time was running her national campaign of trying to snuff out texting and driving, and we had actually had a local death in the area from it. So you had to kind of shift into PR emergency mode and extinguish the problem. But the thing that I learned from it was, one, when you're having a contest, don't extend it under no circumstances whatsoever, because people just blow it out of proportion and take it really personally. And two, something that I knew a while ago, but context is really lost online, and I actually learned that firsthand, that something that should have been taken more of satire really offended people and really got people fired up, and it really became a huge problem.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, your social media failure is that you took on Oprah and you lost.
Yeah, that would be it.
Oprah, you got the Oprah camp saying don't text and drive. You got the Kreider camp saying go ahead and text and drive. And her message was heard more loudly as well as made a lot more sense. I can appreciate that. My social media failure happened on Facebook. It started years ago, and I've paid the price ever since. When I got on Facebook, I looked at it. I saw it as a quote unquote popularity contest. So I went and started adding friends, and adding friends, and now it's gotten to that point to where Facebook. I would love to use Facebook as an actual social networking tool. Unfortunately, I quote unquote friended like 4,000 people, and so.
So he friended so many people that Skype decided to cut out his audio. So yeah, not what he was trying to say. He's told us the story before. A call dropped. Lovely. He friended so many people that he basically has billions of people on his Facebook list, and instead of actually getting useful information about them, finding out updates from all his friends, it's just filled with
noise.
Updates from lots of people that he does not know. So
probably tons of Farmville alerts.
Oh well, yeah, I'm sure.
We need to just kind of huddle all those Farmville people into like their own District 9.
Totally. I think there's some like Grease Monkey scripts or something that will get rid of those, so you don't see those Farmville alerts.
Well, just the Farmville in particular, you can just disable the application, can't you? Or is that just turn off invites? You can't actually hide it. I thought you could hide it completely.
I don't know if you can hide the alerts from your friends. Like if your friends are playing, I could be wrong.
I'll just put it this way. I mean, I don't use Facebook all that much, but I don't see anything about Farmville anymore. I'm pretty sure I disabled it.
JD, you back?
I'm not back.
So we finished off your story for you there about why.
I caught on. I see what you're doing. Yes, I overfriended and underutilized, and now I realize that social media in many cases, sometimes it is a matter of bulk, other cases it's a matter of quality versus quantity, and in the Facebook's case, it is definitely a quality issue. Yeah. You need to go after people, fans, friends, regardless of what you're doing. Make sure that you shoot for quality first and foremost. Quality will come if your quality is there, the quantity will come. And Jeff, I'll toot your horn a little bit. Your Facebook page, while relatively small compared to other quote unquote businesses, is still tremendous in the engagement level. It's still tremendous relative to the number of people that like your page. Those people are active, engaged, and they did it because they wanted to, not because they were coaxed into it. And there's different strategies when it comes to Facebook pages. Some people will go after bulk, and there are advantages to having 5, 10, 20, 50,000 people like your page. But the other strategy, and the one that you're utilizing, of having 600, 700 people like your page, but these are actual people that are active and involved. That's a strategy that's sustainable, in my opinion. So I appreciate what you've done there. Mohan, what's the most embarrassing thing you've ever, the biggest mistake you ever made on online or through social media? I want to hear this one.
My social media life is very, very new. I usually joined last 1 year. I haven't been really major in any other site except for Digg. Any other site I have tried is a total failure.
So you've mastered Digg and failed at everything else. Have you tried Reddit?
Reddit I tried once or twice, but it was more like, when I started Digg for the first 15-20 days, I used to be on IM. I didn't even know about it. People used to say, submit this, I will submit it. I never even really figured out how Reddit works.
So I don't have a story per se to share with you guys, but the CEO for my company that I work for sends out sort of a mass message every morning with sort of a little update and then also a quote of the day. And I just thought it was funny. The quote of the day for today actually is so fitting to this discussion. It was, a mistake only becomes a failure when you repeat it. Deep thoughts there.
I did actually repeat my mistake, so I'm a failure. My Twitter is a one-way conversation. Unless people talk directly to me through @ replies, then I can't utilize Twitter at all.
Exactly, that was what I was just now telling to Bad Cat. Twitter, it's more of a place of a noise these days.
Right. Absolutely. Andy?
Social media failure?
Yes.
Um,
Not failure. Mistakes are fine.
Mistakes. Gosh, it's hard. It's hard for me to think of anything that's really kind of been on a level of failure that I feel is like devastating. I make bad choices when I submit stuff to Digg on occasion, but I don't think I've had anything that's been what I would consider a failure.
See, that's the wrong answer, Andy. I can tell you what your mistake was. Your mistake was letting your girlfriend pick your.
Yes. Well, there you go. Next time you're choosing a handle, make sure you have full control over that.
Why don't you just get with MrBabyMan? This isn't something that's going to come back and haunt you in 6 years, where a nationally known celebrity is going to make fun of your name. The Old Spice guy is gonna ask questions about whether or not you're actually a real baby or a real man or anything.
That'll never happen.
No. Well, more on that later. Beautiful. Did we miss anyone else's embarrassment? Aaron, what is your most embarrassing moment?
Her most embarrassing moment is moving when we're trying to do a show here. That's messed up 2 Social Blade shows.
Yes, I'm embarrassed for her as we speak.
Well, JD, what since you've been in social media for a long time, what biggest social media blunder or mistake that have you seen been made, or and what can everyone learn from it? Either through business or just personal.
JD's mistakes are related to the hotel Wi-Fi. We just lost him again there. Yeah, just like Aaron, his mistake is traveling while it's Social Blade night.
I think he should just be on his AT&T connection. I think that was much better.
I agree.
Maybe he's holding his computer wrong.
So, Jeff, I have a question. So, what did the guy from Google, Avinash, what did he say his failures were?
Well, one of the things he said was when he first started, I think he was working for DirecTV, and he learned he's very task oriented, and he had a team under him. And it was the first time he had a team, and he would make checklists, have his people update their status, and very systematic. And he found that he wasn't getting a lot of efficiency out of them when the steps he had put in place were to increase efficiency. And the reason he found that was he was treating his team members as resources instead of humans. And he wasn't getting the most out of them because instead of treating them like humans, finding out what motivates them, because people were motivated in different ways, he was treating them like a computer program and just having them update their status and not really getting to know them on a personal level. And he learned that to be successful, especially in a team environment, you need to treat your people like humans instead of resources.
I think that I agree. And to answer your question, I know I'm sorry for falling off. I've gone ahead and re-switched back to AT&T instead of Best Western, so we'll see if that can keep online for longer than a few seconds. To answer your question, the biggest mistake from a business perspective that people can make is to denounce or ignore social media, saying that it's going to be a fad, say it's not going to be around, saying that it's too time consuming, there's no ROI, there's nothing that can be gained from it. Huge mistake. The people that were saying it last year and are joining this year are kicking themselves for not doing it. Those who haven't joined yet or not participating or are participating poorly are going to be saying to themselves soon that they've made a mistake. And I don't want to make it sound as if it's a oh duh mistake, because it's not. I mean, there's a lot of valid reasons why a business would not want to get involved in social media. It can be a time drain. It does require a certain level of expertise. It can be expensive from the perspective of you either have to hire somebody or outsource it to other people. You also offer a venue where you're basically exposing yourself to the retribution of other people. All these are valid reasons, but the all of them can also be overcome if you do social media the right way. And perhaps more importantly, the benefits that come from social media being utilized from a business perspective far exceed anything that you would, any potential risk that you run because somebody might say something bad about you on your Facebook wall, or because somebody's going to have to spend an extra 5 minutes a day updating your Twitter account, or because you don't think that YouTube is valid. All of these are great for business, and I would say literally 99.9% of businesses in America can benefit from social media. On a personal basis, the biggest mistakes they happen on a daily basis, and that's not understanding not understanding a social media site before getting involved. In the case of Reddit, you submit the wrong stuff. It's not like Digg. There's no forgiveness in Reddit. You submit the wrong stuff, you can be obliterated. On Facebook, you start posting things, talking to your son about his some disease that he has, not realizing that you're broadcasting this to the whole world. These things happen on a regular basis. There's actual blogs that document failures that happen on Facebook. On Twitter, letting your Twitter account, having a bad password, letting your Twitter account get hacked. In the case of a recent singer, I forgot what the name of her band was. Somebody hacked her Twitter account, went into her TwitPics, found some topless pictures of her, and tweeted them out on Twitter. There's
wasn't that Keisha?
I don't know her name.
I think she also did. Kesha also had some pictures exposed, but it was I can't remember the group. There was some redhead.
Yeah, something Evermore or something like that.
Paramore.
Paramore. There you go. Yeah, that was them, and that was her, and she took a topless picture of herself, and somebody hacked her Twitter account and tweeted it via TwitPics. So. So there's plenty of bad that can happen, and there's plenty of embarrassing things that people do through social media. Does that mean that you should avoid it? For some, sure. There are negatives to social media for sure. From a business perspective, I would say 99.9% should be on social media and should be taking it seriously. And that's not. Keep in mind, I'm not saying that simply because I'm one of those. I'm not just the hair club president. I'm also a member or a user or whatever. It's in social media. Yeah, I do social media for a living. But even if I didn't, I would still understand and see the benefits of social media from a business perspective. Did I lose you again?
No, you're here.
No.
Just making sure. I'm like, dang it. There's silence again. I've lost everyone. I am failure. Good thing I didn't say that out loud. Beautiful. Now, there are some other benefits to social media. For example, if you are good with your video camera, you may be able to make some money from YouTube. Get some money from grant money. Right, Ergo?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's basically happened here is YouTube announced that they have a grant, basically $5 million, that they're going to be disseminating to the, I guess it's probably only going to be the top partners. But they basically are going to be going through, they have 10,000 partners now. It's just an amazing amount. And they'll be sort of reviewing all of the accounts on a number of eligibility factors, such as how many video views, subscribers, how fast they're growing new subscribers, and just sort of in general what the channels are doing there. And what they're trying to do is to promote these partners that are creating the best content on YouTube, the most liked content there, but might not have all the resources like perhaps a professional camera. Maybe they're just using an iPhone or something like that to make their videos, and we can get them they can get them a real HD camera or more powerful computers to do video processing, because that takes a long time. So they can just basically upgrade their studios and create even better content, so they're not spending all the time doing all the producing work, and they're actually just creating it. So basically, for the people that are going to be selected, it's not something, at least they're letting anyone apply for. They're going to be, YouTube is going to be reviewing all of the partners and contacting them, and then the partners have to basically write up a grant proposal, send it back, and they'll approve the best ones there. So I have a request. Social Blade actually is one of these 10,000 partners.
Wow.
Yeah, we are. So we're in this elite group. However, I don't think at the moment they'll select us automatically. So I think we should start a campaign right here. Get all of our viewers to write to YouTube and recommend Social Blade for this grant here. So we could get a better studio here to do our show. Well, what do you guys think on that?
I think that's a beautiful idea.
Brilliant.
How would we go about doing that?
That is a very good question. YouTube is extremely hard to contact, so I'm not exactly sure. But if you go to YouTube's contact
post up
page,
this week.
Yeah, we'll put it in the blog post.
We'll figure out how. That is amazing, and it's beautiful because it does kind of bring YouTube a step closer to being considered real style, television style media. Gives it that sense of credibility to where it's not just a bunch of kids videotape themselves breaking their wrists on skateboards. That there's actual some real high quality content that can be placed onto YouTube and truly produced rather than just the little things. And we see it. I mean, it's been happening for a while, but the exposure level can be tremendous, but still nothing compared to the television exposure level. You get a television show, you have your exposures in the millions. You have a really strong YouTube channel, your exposures in the hundreds of thousands. So this may take that to the next level, and I do hope it does, because I am a big proponent of moving a good portion of the media online. But that's a whole other story.
So how long do you think it will take before we see the first featured film released over YouTube?
Andy, when did I made that prediction on the drill down about 2 months ago when I was
first feature film on YouTube?
Yeah, I think it was 2015.
Yeah, no, I think there has to already have been a feature film that debuted on YouTube, an independent feature. I'm guessing. It's probably so independent that we're not aware of it though.
Okay.
Very.
I found their email address also. You can email youtubepartner@gmail.com.
All right, everybody, whip out your emails.
So suggest.
You know what you should do when you do your blog post? You should have a recommended form. That you can just fill out your name, like person X recommends the Social Blade because of Y.
That's a good idea. An automatic email generation.
Yeah, like when political action committees or want to send letters out to senators and stuff, they send their constituents, their members, these auto forms that you can just fill out the name of the senator and send it off.
That's a very good idea. We'll do that. Thank you.
I think we figured out a way to game the system.
Yeah, I mean it's all about creating the compelling content, though, and Social Blade is definitely doing that. We just got to get our name out there a little more, and this is perfect.
Invading the internet, one email at a time.
Yes. So there. Speaking of YouTube and someone who actually has been getting their name out, JD, you want to tell us about the Old Spice Man?
I would, but I'm not smart enough. No. Okay, so if you don't know who the Old Spice Man is, then you haven't been watching television or visiting the internet or doing anything at all, because the Old Spice Man is officially viral and he's been doing it right. Our guest tonight, Andrew Sorcini, actually wrote a blog post documenting this tremendous effect that the advertising agency Whedon and Kennedy did when they created the Old Spice Man concept. So we're talking about a deodorant that has been around since the Peloponnesian Wars, and it has always maintained a reputation of, do you use Old Spice? No, but my grandfather does. They're turning that around now, and I've always had the premise, and I'd actually had a blog post idea similar to what Andy wrote. My premise was that if you were to take the deodorants and do a blind sniff test, that and compared it to like Axe deodorant, you would probably get about 50-50, approximately 45-55, whatever, about people who sniffed it and said, "Oh, that smells good," or "That smells very manly," or "I like that smell." There wouldn't be much of a difference. But if you did a survey and you asked 1,000 women which smells better, Axe deodorant or Old Spice deodorant, you'd probably get about 80-20. with of the women, 80% of the women saying they prefer Axe deodorant, and if you did that to men, it'd probably be like 95-5.
Gillette tweets.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's one of those things where marketing for Axe has been excellent over the years, and marketing for Old Spice has been relatively non-existent, at least until very recently. Andy, why don't you tell us a little bit about it? What's happening?
Before he does that, just look here in general on YouTube. They were the #1 most viewed channel on YouTube today.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and they're actually, if you look at Google Trends and type in Old Spice, you can see that they've got a tremendous spike over the last couple of days compared to, in general, over the last year or so.
Wow.
Old Spice, yeah, pretty much. Well, Old Spice had this image problem in that they were associated with being, like your grandfather's scent. Like, that's the scent that your grandfather wore. It came in the old, ceramic bottle with the scrimshaw on it, and it smelled like your grandpa. So in order to stay relevant in the marketplace, they needed to change that image. And they began kind of this campaign a while back, not with Isaiah Mustafa, but with other people like Bruce Campbell is one notable person that was part of this campaign early on, where Whedon Kennedy, the ad agency, kind of took an absurdist twist to the campaign. And these guys are just absolutely brilliant. And so when they created the Old Spice Man campaign with Isaiah Mustafa, who was a former NFL wide receiver, it just went through, awareness just went through the roof. I mean, these commercials are funny, they're hip, they're entertaining, and from the popularity of just the 2 or 3 commercials that they had done that reached Super Bowl, that hit the Super Bowl and then made their viral spread on the internet, they decided to get hyper personal. And this is an absolutely brilliant idea that I personally think is going to change the way viral marketing occurs from this point forward. They decided to personally address individual users on the internet with their from their comments. And so they built a shower set up in Portland, Oregon, and they had Isaiah Mustafa stand there, and they would film these 30-second
clips.
Clips, and upload them to video to YouTube. And they were cranking these out. I think they said somewhere in the blog, there's a great blog post, I think Read Write Web has the post, about how they did this. They were turning them around like every 7 minutes or so. They had a team. They had a social marketing team there who would scan the internet and find basically influence leaders, and those would be the ones that they'd prefer to address the replies to. And then they would have a team of writers to write the funny dialogue that Isaiah Mustafa would say, because these are all semi-scripted for the most part. I mean, no, I think they're all actually scripted. This was just a brilliant campaign. And I think are you about to play the one that the response to me?
Yeah, I was going to play part of that one here. So here, look at this. This is directly to you.
MrBabyMan tweets, when 2 men both using Old Spice body wash meet, do they cancel each other out? MrBabyMan, are you a baby with the muscle structure of a man? Or a man with the soft body and pure spirit of a baby? Perplexing. To answer your question, no, they do not cancel each other out, but rather turn into liquid metal which slowly dribbles across the ground and joins the other man's liquid metal to make an even more ultimately powerful man. I think they portray this in some Hollywood movie, but I can't remember the name. Anyways, you should check it out. It's pretty amazing.
So these guys,
epic,
perplexing. That's the best part.
Like Whedon and Kennedy just in one fell swoop just revolutionized viral marketing forever. I think that in order to really engage the internet audience, viral marketers are really going to have to start thinking on a hyper personal basis and addressing individual users, getting primary engagement that way. And this I'm really going to start watching this advertising agency from here on out too, because they did recently, and I will link it here. They did a campaign for the video game Bulletstorm, and what they did was they ground up cans of spam, embedded those ground up cans of spam with bullet shells and dog tags and pieces of fingers and other body parts, wrapped them as in pallets of meat, and then sent them out to video game reviewers as if they were the remains of soldiers ground into ground beef. Really, yeah, it's a really amazing. If you see the pictures in the link that I posted in the
yeah, we're showing it on the screen.
It's just really some gruesome but impressive stuff. So this company, I'm going to start watching what they do from here on out, because it looks like they're really on the cutting edge of viral marketing.
Yeah, I think we were talking about yesterday before JD fell asleep on us. You know, there's never going to be the ability to copy what Old Spice has done. I mean, you just can't. And you know, I think they've beaten everyone else to the punch. You know, I don't know how you develop something going forward that doesn't just feel like it's a copy of what Old Spice was able to do.
Right. Well, in a way, like the Old Spice campaign itself is kind of a variation on Subservient Chicken. Remember Subservient Chicken? I think it was a Burger King campaign.
No, I don't.
Oh, well, it was a campaign where you would go onto a website, subservientchicken.com, and you would tell the chicken what to do, and the chicken would do exactly what you told it to do. So in a way, that was kind of hyper personalized, but that was really a series of canned responses. And I would not be surprised if Whedon Kennedy was behind Subservient Chicken as well.
JD, you're back in your car again there.
Yes, I am. I do apologize. The show must go on, but I haven't eaten since about 12 hours, and so before everything closes, we're heading to grab something to eat. But in the meantime, I'm still here. We're still gonna keep going.
Well, do you want to take us into our next story here?
Absolutely. So one of the areas that was addressed. Was the Digg. The Old Spice Man actually sent one of his first videos out to Kevin Rose, wishing him good luck. It was very funny, saying, "Can you imagine what would happen if you took my perfect body structure and handsome facial features and combined with your tremendous mind?" And he said, "No, you can't, because nobody can. Nobody could imagine such a thing, because it would make your head explode if you tried." And that was sent out to Mr. Kevin Rose, CEO of Digg. The day prior to, they went and posted something to Reddit. First, he confirmed his account on Reddit by taking a picture of himself with a little handout saying hi Reddit and the date, and then he followed it up with a post saying, you know, we will be addressing the internet tomorrow for one day only, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, long story short is that it was brilliant. But let's get back to the point of hand. Andy, let's actually start with Mohan. Mohan, what can you tell us about what you know about the new...
Start with Andy. Mohan's... Oh, there he is.
Mohan, tell me about the new Digg.
So, Mohan, tell us about the new Digg. I saw you just put your headphones back on.
Hey, sorry, I just went to lock the door. My kid came inside 1 second.
Oh, I didn't know you had a kid.
Digg.
Okay. First, the positive things is, I think this would have been really, really great if they did it, before Twitter and Face came up. But then the implementation seems really good, but they have really missed out so many important pieces to be copied from Twitter and Facebook at the least. That's my overall impression about it.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you, Mohan. I feel like that they've taken away my biggest complaint about the new Digg is that they seem to have taken away the curation factor, the user curation factor out of the new Digg. So instead of relying on users who are experienced users who have in the past had a track record of sharing popular content to curate the stories, by having them incorporate this feature where publishers can automatically import their RSS feeds and everything gets submitted to Digg automatically. How are you going to separate the wheat from the chaff? If everything is submittable to Digg, because part of what people like Mohan and myself do is we choose which stories to submit to Digg based on their merit. Well, now that merit, there is no selective merit involved. If it's all going to be automatically submitted to Digg.
I mean, for example, if you take any popular site, they have their own site-specific posts which go up on their site. Not even these preferred first 40-50 sites which have been included have an exclusive feed for this purpose. Which means, for example, Ars Technica might have an announcement telling they have this new feature coming up, or they have this new subscribe post and so on. Why should that be auto-fed into Digg?
Why should anything be auto-fed in the Digg?
I mean, if it was something like, a featured post feed or something wherein their editor picks and chooses out of my 20 stories today, I think these are the best 5, that would at least be, sort of understandable.
Just from Digg's, point of view here, I can tell you the reason, I guess, they want people to do that is not traffic per se. It's just, if the story is already there, it takes the whole, all right, I got to spend 5 minutes and submit this out of the picture there, and it puts, if there's I don't remember how many users
I would believe that argument, Ergo, except that in the new Digg, that submitting stories is tons easier.
Oh, I agree. No, I understand that, but it's still, even if it's tons easier, the general mass of Digg users aren't going to even take the time to do that. But if they are looking at their My News and they're subscribed to whatever source, they're much more likely to be able to just click a Digg button rather than actually go and find the story on another site, go and submit it here. It makes it one stop for them to actually do that process.
But then, if you see in the existing Digg, all these sites which have the Digg button, how many sites do you know really configure it well?
Well, yeah.
See, I mean, and right now Digg is thinking like, every site is going to feed me perfect content, perfect description, everything perfect and so on. But then, these sites don't even bother to configure their Digg buttons properly. And so now that you are giving a open door, do whatever you want, it will be abused for sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely think it is going to be putting a lot more noise there, and it definitely is going to be taking away from the sort of, or at least supposed picking by human editors to submit it there. They're really taking a risk here.
And talking about publishers, there's this one more thing I saw. I expected this to happen, and this is already happening. For example, Mashable has 10 different accounts. Does that mean, let's say Mashable has an account about social media, that account should only be feeding in social media stories? But then And so people follow that account thinking they'll get social media stories. But then this account will go and keep digging another Mashable account story. Eventually, there's no point in having 10 accounts there because they're going to cross dig anyway. I see Ars Technica and Wired doing it because everything is from the same parent company.
Sure.
And so
keep in mind,
what is the point in telling this person is for tech, this person is for science? Does it mean this person should not ever read a science story and even click a button on it?
No. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, JD.
Okay. So I agree with you, Mohan. There's going to be some gaming. I have addressed this with Digg, a couple of different issues. First off, publishers are given the option. They will be able to, if they have 30 stories published in a day, they do not have to set up their feed to publish all 30 stories. In that particular case, they're actually encouraged to go ahead and set up a feed that's their quote-unquote best content only. And that way, any of their diggable content will go onto this particular feed that's manually curated by someone at the site and sent through, or they set it as a category. There's a lot of different ways they can do it. They're trying to make it as easy as possible because they do know that sites are gonna have that issue. Now, regarding the publisher accounts voting for each other, it will definitely have an effect on the exposure perspective on my Digg, my news, but the Digg effect from getting onto the top news aspect of it, the algorithm is already prepared and ready to counteract that. So in other words, in the my news aspect of it, yes, if you have 10 Mashable accounts and all 10 accounts dig a particular story, then it's going to go out to the people who are following any of those 10 accounts, and in many cases it will go out, it will appear higher on their feed because if they're following, let's say, 8 of them, then they get eight quote-unquote follower or followee votes, so to speak, followee digs, so it'll appear higher. But from a promotion perspective, being promoted to the top news section, Digg is prepared to counteract that with their algorithm. They know it's going to happen, and they don't want to necessarily stop it per se. But just as right now, certain digs have less effect than other digs. In other words, if you have somebody who's digging 300 stories a day and they dig every single one of your stories, for example, that their dig is less effective than that person who's digging 5 to 10 stories a day, clicking through to all of them, reading the story, and digging 1 or 2 of your stories out of 20. That dig is more powerful, and the same thing is going to be happening with the new dig, even more so because they do realize that there's going to be attempts at gaming it, and maybe even unintentional attempts. You're opening the door to a wide array of people who have never used Digg in the past. I've had more conversations over the last 3 weeks about how to manage, how to really operate Digg. Should we feed? Should we not feed? Should we make a publisher account? Should we stick to the way we're doing it? Blah blah blah. And I've been encouraging people, go ahead and make the publisher account, but let's hold off on setting up the actual full-on feed until we see what happens. Where are things going to land? One of the big questions, and in my mind, it's really the only question right now, is not what happens. I understand the whole, and I agree with the idea of having the personalized page. You follow who you truly want to follow. You look at the news that you truly want to look at based upon trusting those people that you're following or those accounts that you're following, those publishers, whatever. But the top news page, it's the unauthenticated, the people that are not logged in. Those are the ones that I'm concerned about. If they go to Digg.com, if you're not logged in, and you go to Digg.com and you're presented with top news with a prompt to log in or join, that's great. That's fine. I love it. If you go to Digg.com and you're not logged in and you're presented with a must log in page similar to Twitter, then Digg will fail. Bottom line, Digg will lose its ability to send traffic to people because the majority of traffic that Digg currently sends is not from people that are logged into Digg. It's from the other 80% of people that aren't logged in. They just go into Digg to find the coolest, latest news. And if they don't have that ability without having to log in or without having to create an account, then we're all in trouble because Digg will lose its quote-unquote power. The page views that you'll be able to send from Digg will be isolated to CNN, Mashable, TechCrunch, and Ars Technica, and that's pretty much it. Everyone else will be shafted. If that's not the case, and if they do allow the top news to be the default quote-unquote homepage for non-logged in users, then everything should work out perfectly fine for everybody.
Or not?
Only thing I'll suggest, JD, you told 4 people, right? Mashable, CNN, blah blah blah. It will mainly be TechCrunch. Just watch out for it. It will be mainly TechCrunch. You go see Kevin Rose's account today. He will keep digging only TechCrunch's account. I lately feel like TechCrunch and blog.digg.com are just alias for each other.
Sure. No, and I agree. And keep in mind, it's funny because the person I spoke to, I said, "How do I become a recommended account?" And he said, "As soon as they tell me how I become one, I'll let you know." And this was a Digg employee, so I think to some extent you may be. Now, I don't know if I agree with you. I think that there's going to be a lot of others, but the key to whether or not it's going to be successful is very similar to the key that made Twitter successful back in late 2008, early 2009. It wasn't the early adopters that made it successful. The early adopters got it on the map. Once it hit the map, it was the celebrities and the publications that made Twitter successful. That's the play that Digg's trying to make. Now, and I wrote a blog post about this 3 or 4 weeks ago, if Digg really wants to be fair and allowing of basically if they can go without trying to go down the exact same road that Twitter went, and if they will allow for what I like to call and Kevin, I steal this term from Kevin Rose, if they will allow tastemakers to maintain a certain level of power, in other words, if they'll take Lieutenant General Panda and MrBabyMan and First Digg and these Digg accounts that have proven over and over again, time after time, that they're good at finding quality content, regardless of whether it's on CNN or if it's on Neatorama, if it's on Boston.com or if it's on some crazy dude.blogspot.com, but it's amazing content. If they'll allow the tastemakers to maintain a certain level of power, be recommended to users, you can even call it your own, give them their own section. Right now you have the tech section, you have people recommended in lifestyle, in world news, politics, whatever. If they also have a separate section for tastemakers, where basically those who have demonstrated a high level of quality of their submissions, then you have to what I would consider to be the perfect site. It would be more social. It would be geared towards the publishers because they had to do it, guys. Bottom line is, as much as we love Digg the way it is, it's not making the money that it should be. They need the publishers and the celebrities on their side. Bottom line. I'm going to stop because
why? I mean, what is broken? What is broken? Other than few features which need
not
to be
making money. They're not making money, Mohan. That's all there is to it.
Now, what is the guarantee that this method is going to make money?
There is no. The only guarantee right now is that if they don't change, they won't make money. That's guaranteed. They've tried. They have not been able to do it. They've maintained the sanctity of Digg for in my opinion longer than it should have been. Kevin has fought for the power users, fought for the people that fought for the quality of the content. And it's almost sometimes he sounds like an old school newspaper journalist who doesn't want to submit to paid editorials and pages worth of ads. But at the end of the day, Digg has not made the money that similar sized counterparts have been able to make. I'm not defending it. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying that's where there is no guarantee that this will work. But there is a guarantee that if they don't make a change, that it won't work.
So I have something to throw out there. I don't know if this was brand new just recently. I just saw a story about it today, so I went over to it. Talking about Google News. Have you guys been there recently? Because it almost looks like they're doing the exact same thing that Digg is trying to do here. With you can basically now go and follow all sorts of different topics here. Let's see if I can remember how to do that. Oh, it's up at the top, I think. So you can pick basically all different types of different sections, and I think you can actually even create your own custom one, and then people can follow those. And then it still uses Google's algorithm to pick what news to show you here, but it's all personalized also. Like these are the ones I went through and picked out. And then you can favorite them. I'm guessing if you favorite it, sort of like digging, it's going to tell the algorithm that it's a little more relevant. You can also, I think, pick based off of the site itself, show more stories from this one's from eWeek, or show fewer from there. So it almost looks like Google is trying to beat them to the punch here.
No, although this was exactly what Jay Adelson and Kevin Rose promised about a year ago in one of the Digg town halls, if you remember.
What were they saying? Expand, Mohan?
They told you can create any number of keywords or tags, unlimited categories. Everyone will be able to create their own feeds, and you will all have a personalized homepage. And so, I was really thinking that will how it will be. But then eventually it became see what your friend is digging. I don't care what my friend digs.
I completely agree with you there. I like I said, I just saw this today, and I'm actually pretty impressed with.
I mean, this is exactly what I was expecting Digg to be doing. But then I care to read what my friend is doing, but I don't care what he likes and why should I read it.
Yeah. Because you see right here that someone looks like someone. I just went to a FAR page so I could see some custom categories, not by Google, but you see some of these. I don't know if you can see on the screen. It says by Google, and then here's an auto one by Dan Moldovan or something, and then various different ones. An India one by this guy, and Windows 7. Darren Young.
There's a site very similar to this. It's called iCurrent. Washington Post bought it yesterday. And Digg is going to get hell lot of competition from so many new upcoming companies which are going to do what Digg was telling it was going to do.
Well, that's a very good question. If Google News is doing this, if iCurrent is doing this, Facebook is kind of like, Digg is emulating Facebook in a way. Then, if all of these other sites are doing this, what is going to set Digg apart? Why would Digg expect to receive more traffic than Google News if the way they lay out their news is going to be exactly the same? The way that Digg currently is sets it apart from any other anybody else in the same vertical, and I think that's its strong point. So when you homogenize yourself to make yourself look like every other news aggregator, you suddenly you may open yourself up to other publishers, but you lose that unique quality that brought people to the site in the first place.
I see. It looks like I was just playing around with this live here. It looks like to create your own custom thing, you just supply keywords. So I just typed in Digg, for example, in the search terms here, and it gives you all the stories related to Digg.
That's exactly how even iCurrent works, and that's what these guys were promising.
So, and then I could publish this in the directory there, so people, I could put Digg News. And
if Google does it, I mean, they're already doing it. I will trust, and I suppose everyone will trust Google more than Digg. If both are doing the same, why would I go to Digg rather than going to Google?
That's exactly my point.
Can you vote on Google on Google?
JD, once in the old Digg setup, it was your vote which matters. Now in the new Digg setup or anything, this new Google News or anything, it does not matter how much you vote. It's about you getting your news appropriate for you. The whole, the whole focus is changing, I think.
I would say that, and this is more of a, sorry for the noise. This is more of a hope, probably more than something that I know factually. But I imagine that the way they have it set up, Digg, is where your vote does still count. It's not voted. It's not counted as a submission. The bottom line is that if crack.com auto feeds a story and 3 minutes later MrBabyMan digs it, it still is getting exposed to people that it wouldn't have been exposed to before. A lot of people, as a matter of fact. And that story, if it's a good story and it has the merits to last, then to do well, then the people that he exposed it to will also dig it, and he can still create a viral effect. The big difference right now, the big difference is the way I see it, and again, this is best case scenario, probably more so than maybe reality, but the way that I see it happening is that right now today, you have, say, 5 stories.
that you can submit in a day. And then you have, let's say, 200 stories that you're going to dig because that's the way the game works. Today it's a game, and to be a power user, you have to submit 0 to 5 stories in a day, and then you have to dig 100 to 200 stories. Does anybody disagree with that?
No.
I agree to that, but then I already see a very big loophole in the system, which I don't want to really discuss here. But I need not.
You can discuss that with me offline. Then I'm looking for loopholes.
But this you need not just really game it at all. If you properly time and do a particular thing, you will get it all automatic.
You can tell me about that offline. I'm dying to hear. So the new dig, I'm assuming that if you dig 200 stories and you expose all of your followers to these 200 stories, and most of them aren't good,
you'll be unfriended.
Followers. So now it comes down to, instead of submitting 5 or fewer and digging 100 to 200, now it's dig 20 to 30, make sure they're really good, and help them get to the front page.
And my main thing is I've had a similar discussion with Andy before. Sometimes we dig a story just because that we know that person. Maybe he asked for a dig or something. Right now we have to be like as if like so stingy. We just cannot even dig I know this guy. Let's say I know Andy for 25 years, and Andy has written this awesome blog post. But then I think it's maybe on the majority people might not agree. I can't even dig it because if I dig it, which means all my followers will have to go along that line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you better dig it only if you think it's really good. Only if you think it deserves exposure.
That is where. And so if you this whole thing was copied from Facebook and Twitter. Twitter, there's this neat thing of saying this is my own tweet. This is a retweet. Wherein by telling a retweet, it's more like yeah, I like this, but it doesn't mean it's mine. Why can't you even let us do that on this social site?
Well, okay, and then I have another challenge for you, Mohan. I can tell you this much. Of the submissions that I do, which isn't a ton, I don't submit as much as a lot of people, but of the submissions that I do, I can tell you that more than half of my sources will not be auto-fed. Now, if you look at Boston.com, ArsTechnica.com, and Time.com, they will be auto-fed. Imgur will not be auto-fed. YouTube will not be auto-fed.
Imgur couldn't be auto-fed.
Imgur is going to be auto-fed because they take Reddit and feed it into
Is what?
Reddit is going to be auto-fed into Digg.
Yeah.
You know what the good thing about that is? Well, I'll discuss it. I'll discuss it later with you, Mohan.
Come on, we got all these secrets.
Andy, you know that, I know that, we know that we can beat it.
Yeah, I know that you know that we know.
I know, but I don't know if Jeff, do you know?
Nope. I'm just here for the show.
Panda and I will still be okay.
Ready. So, fair enough. I assume, based on your comments, that you are against the new dig. Is that correct?
Okay. No. You just given that it's alpha, many people, there was this story written by California Eagle, and then there were so many people who were like, you guys are bashing at it so soon. It's only an alpha release. They may be adding features soon and so on. This is a 90-something staff company. At least whatever they roll out, you would expect proper design, proper quality from it. I was annoyed at so many things. Number one, they have just used Ajax for no reason. They have just bloated it for everything. Comments, digs, friends, followers, fans, everything.
Mohan,
you need.
They use what?
Sorry?
What is it? I missed what you said. What do they do for these?
Ajax.
Ajax. Okay.
Yeah. You need to go down and hit on that load more or read more or something.
Yes.
And it's so annoying. If you have to read a list of 500, how many times do you hit it? And then they don't even, it's not even an intelligent thing which knows there's nothing more to load. You keep on hitting and then suddenly on top one error pops telling there's nothing more to load. Can't you even control that?
Yeah, I don't like that Ajax either there.
And Andy, if I just give you a random ID,
I agree.
I have an ID here, BROON13. Can you tell me whether he is following you?
BRON13.
BROON13.
Hold on. On the new Digg, right?
Yes, on the new Digg.
Okay, I'm sorry. Spell that again. BROON.
13. Number 1 and then number 3.
Okay, Brune13. Following. Let's see. He's following you.
No. I asked whether he is following you. How do you find it?
There's no easy way to tell unless I go through all of his followers.
Yeah, that reminds me.
But there's not an easy way on old Digg. On the current version of Digg.
He has 200 followers. He's following 200 people. If he's following 1,000 people, how can I even find that? If you're copying from Twitter and Facebook, you can't even copy the basic elements of it.
Well, hold on. Just in general, Mohan, to speak on that relating to Twitter and current version of Digg. If you're looking at someone's profile on current version of Digg, you don't know either. You used to be able to tell because it lets you shout to people that were your friends. And on Twitter, for example, you don't know there either, except for, the way you do know is you have a direct message that shows up for people who are following you and you don't otherwise. So, all of these sites don't make it obvious, immediately obvious.
At least in Twitter, if I go into their profile, if I can direct message them, I know that, I can,
right.
They're following me. Here, unless I scroll through my list of, 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000, read every name to see if that name is there. Do you think is it really meant to be social is my question.
But I'm saying on old Digg, on the current version of Digg, it's the same way, though, there.
No, you will see fan, mutual, and some.
But you have to look through the list though again.
And then you have this option of at least sorting alphabetical. Here it's this horrible Ajax load, which will sometimes load, sometimes not load. The designer, whoever it was, should have given better thought.
I just want it noted for the record that Lieutenant General Panda pulled a Coming to America joke on Andy just now. Aha! Oh well. I thought it was funny.
And for the record, Brune13 is not following me. That son of a gun.
And so see how long it has taken you. That is my whole thing.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, and then why? The one of the most valid complaint in the old Digg was transparency. You were not willing to show Barry. You had a different reason. We think it's a different reason. Forget that. Now, why are you not even showing who is digging it? Except for my friends, I can't see who is digging a particular story. Why are you hiding it? You might have a different reason. If I need to give a very really a very harsh comment on it, I am telling that you want to do behind the scene deal and promote your publishers.
I think you make a good point there in that they certainly do need to. I think there's a lot of their interface that's a little convoluted and needs some improvement. However, if you go to the top news page, you can dial down the dug by panel and see all of the people who've dug a particular story.
Right, but not in the new Digg.
Only if on new Digg it only shows ones that are your friends. So
only your friends.
So
it's very possible that they say it's an alpha release, blah blah blah. But this is not the quality you would expect from a 90-member staff company, even for an alpha release.
No, I think it's good. No, I'm in software, so this is very good for an alpha.
So is Mohan. I want to hear a nerd fight. You guys go.
No, I think it's definitely very good for alpha. Definitely, perhaps needs work for beta, but it's a nice alpha.
Come on, Argo. Reddit is doing it with 5 staff. Why can't Digg with 90 staff? And for so many years, they have been trying to roll this out. They could have been doing at least.
Hold on, Mohan. I'm talking about the usability of the site, not necessarily features. So features okay, yeah, they're definitely lacking a lot of features, but what they do have there works decently.
But and to play devil's advocate, Reddit goes down like there's a dirty joke in there somewhere, but I'm going to avoid it. Reddit goes down every couple of weeks or so for a while there, and they're fighting their own bloat.
Oh yeah, that's true. My thing is, I'm so passionate with Digg. For 1 year I've lived in it, and when I see this, I've seen that they have not been able to fix really silly problems in the old Digg. I am just concerned that will they be able to handle this new thing, and will they be able to fix everything and bring it up? That's my concern.
Yeah, I heard Reddit was going bankrupt, by the way.
Yeah. Have you donated?
I will. I'm going to donate when I get back.
And this thing everyone would have seen. Right on top, it shows your followers and following count. It's absolutely bloated. I don't know whether it's intentional or wrong or whatever it is. The count it shows and the actual people you have is nowhere related.
Cool. We have. I want to get, if we can, I'll go ahead and prompt the audience. I have not. I've not been watching. I'm now watching the feed. So if you have any questions for Andy Sorcini or Mohan, MrBabyMan or Lieutenant General Panda regarding the new Digg or any statements that you'd like read on the air, please post them in the comments, and we will get to them in chronological order based upon whether or not they sound good. So,
the fabulous user at 1, 2, 3, 4.
This is not exactly related to the content, but I like Amy's comment here. You can tell it's a nerd fight when the people close their eyes and look away as they're slapping each other. I would do that with you, Mohan, but your video is very dark right now, so we can't really have our nerd fight. But our boxes are right next to each other, so we could.
You could.
Just so that I just know, I turned it off because I have too many bugs around me, and so just turned it off.
What else? What other complaints do you guys have? I mean, not necessarily complaints. Is there anything good, Mohan? Is there anything that you look at the new Digg and take off the power user hat and look at it from a okay, so yeah, that's kind of cool. Is there anything about the new Digg that you like?
I like that they removed all the detailed categories, because the detailed categories eventually meant nothing, and either you needed to have so many more categories. For example, technology really needed a Google category, so on and so forth. And due to those detailed categories, they had to pull in diversity, blah, blah, and so on. Right now, with it being more broader, I think that's a really good decision.
Isn't that the opposite of what they said they were going to do? Didn't they say?
Yes. Oh yes, it's certainly the exact opposite. They were going to go very detailed, but given that this is what they have decided, I think this is a better approach than having very focused topics and then telling we want to bring diversity to the homepage and the whole algo auto-bury, blah, blah, blah.
Just in general, just one big difference between Google's news, since we were talking about that, and Digg. For example, here on Digg, you can follow these media outlets like CBS News, for example, but if you prefer the topics, like I like technology stories. CBS News might carry a lot of technology stories, but I don't like sports or things like that. So if they write about that, you can't really filter based off of that. You're doing just the source. So I don't know. I'm just looking between the new Digg and the new Google. I'm almost saying Google's got a better product here.
I agree with you. I will, if I give Google for what I haven't even really seen it in detail. If I give Google's implementation 80 or 90, I would give Digg's implementation maybe 20 or 30. That's it.
Yeah, honestly, we had this discussion. We talked about new Digg a couple of weeks ago on Social Blade also, and I hadn't seen Google's product yet. And I was actually giving Digg a pretty good thumbs up there, because you can. It's really, at least the personalized news from a standard user perspective, it's like an RSS. You can, if you forget about following actual people, you can follow CBS News, Gizmodo, Breaking News, things like that, and actually get stories just like you're using it as an RSS reader. But again, so that I thought was cool. So you wouldn't need to use your RSS. You just dig right from here, and that effectively is the same thing as doing both at the same time. But I don't know. I'm telling you, I got to look at this a little more. But I think they got
I have a
something.
really, really wild guess, but I don't know how many will agree. Assuming that some Digg staff are really, really talented, I tend to think like, this whole thing was again redone after Jay Adelson left.
It was a what after Jay Adelson left? Sorry.
After Jay Adelson left, I tend to think that most of these features were again redesigned, again done
yeah.
from when he left.
That's probably very true. So instead of this,
I hope that's why it is so very,
yeah. So
not complete, and it's so much in a rush, not able to meet a timeline and everything. Putting it all together, I think it seems like after he left, they started to again do a whole new set of things, and then somehow try to push it out.
Yeah. So
Mohan, were you involved in the beta testing for this version 4?
No. I think now you can better comment about it than last time. Is it in line with that or totally different?
No, a lot of what you see here is exactly what I saw in the beta test. If there are elements of it that are different from what I saw in the beta test, I can't. They're either marginal, or I can't tell what the difference is since Jay Adelson has left.
Huh, that's interesting. Thank you for that, Andy. So are you able to talk freely about all of that now that they released that, or?
One more positive comment, though. Sorry to interrupt. The site is really fast. They told that they really swapped out all the MySQL thing. It's all Cassandra, blah, blah, blah. It's really fast, everything. But still, that does not justify the 90 people's output on this project, because even the 5 people, Reddit is also using that. I know they have downtime, blah, 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 but they're at least in a small level, they're also using the same technology. Twitter is using, Facebook is using, everyone is using, just because they contribute to, Digg is contributing to the open source world. They make some blog posts, blah, 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 and they make it sound like all of the time they're inventing whole new things, but it's not really true. But the speed has really increased, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's definitely much faster. But Andy, so did you say you are or not able to talk about those?
Well, I mean, to be honest, there's nothing I can't. What you're seeing in the Digg Alpha is even more than I saw.
Okay, because what I thought was they were showing you several different versions. Is that correct?
No, a lot of what I saw was not were also still images too, like screen captures, where I would take a look at the interface and judge the interface based on that. So with the alpha version, you're actually getting to use working versions of some of this. What I only saw as screen capture.
Yeah, you had a mock-up then. Okay.
Yeah. So people who are using the alpha are seeing more than what I saw during the beta testing. So anything I have to add is there's nothing new that I have to add that's not already there.
So I guess it would be safe to say that the way Digg functions now and why where everyone's hating it is because you didn't give them better feedback.
Well, I don't know if they've implemented. You have to understand is that while they're in alpha, they're still behind the scenes working on stuff that they haven't released even in the alpha.
That's probably very true.
I want to ask one question. Do you think they're going to add any new features, or totally new, or add features, or you think they're just going to clean it up and then release it?
You know what? I think it's very possible that they may add that they may take the feedback. If they're smart, they'll take the feedback they've received so far and go back and incubate and not release until it's right.
So actually, Mohan, to follow up on your question there, to post it back to you, if they pretend all the features that are on New Digg right now, pretend there were no bugs, and they did actually run with this right now, how do you think it would be taken by the general public? Would it be a complete failure?
Okay, and I won't call it as a complete failure. Maybe financially it helps them. All power user haters will love it, irrespective with no logic. They'll say if a power user loses it, I love it. But then it takes some time. It takes them a month or two to finally, we can make accusations. They can make accusations. We have to see the final product. But as such, to me, it seems like it wouldn't work.
Seems like it will what?
It would not work.
Okay.
But one more thing, if they decided to, let's say they're not showing what a user submitted, are they going to track back on their API? I even posted a message 2 days back. They said they will be rolling out a completely new API. How it's a very easy thing for someone. Ergo will for sure add one page telling who submitted what. And so why are they trying to, why should they even do this?
Yeah, that's a
good question.
Sorry, I get ringing here. That's a very good question. If the API is showing all of this, then yeah. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that.
I mean, I posted it on their Google group, their Google API group. I asked them, okay, is there a new API coming? Is it blah blah blah? They were like, be assured, whenever the final Digg is out, we will have an API. And so I was like, then don't worry about what features you give us. We will make it for ourselves.
So, so what you're saying is that it doesn't matter what we're seeing here in the alpha. If when they roll out with the new version, there's going to be a whole new API.
Yes, I mean, the API at the least needs to tell me who dug what. From that, I know that the first digger is the submitter. How it's just a matter of 1 day work to get a nice, well-looking site up.
Well, I think that if that is important to you, that definitely let them know that that's important. I think at this point, any preference that you have for changes should definitely be voiced before they get too far in.
I would like to definitely ask anyone at Digg who's able to talk about this, please contact us, contact Ergo, let them know, and we'd love to hear about it. We'd love to hear about it from you. We've got tons of questions we'd like answered. I know that you have Digg Dialogue, which is like all cool and stuff like that, but we've got Social Blade Dialogue, which technically speaking is, no offense, but it is much cooler. So
absolutely.
So yeah. So open invitation, Kevin, Jen, Matt, Bob, Sarah, I don't care. Aaron Ryan can come on the show. Digg has an Aaron Ryan. We have an Aaron Ryan. If you combine the Aaron Ryans into one show, then it's like molten iron spilling onto the ground and combining to form a superhuman.
However, they have never been seen in the same Skype call together. So, are they really the same person? Ooh.
I think you have a point there. So, let's combine.
I saw the Digg Aaron Ryan. They just did something on Digg, so that's our Aaron Ryan's not here. Who knows?
I think what they might do is they'll pretend like we didn't even hear your comments anywhere. Blah blah blah. They'll say this is still an alpha. Slowly, maybe plug it in all the features which they took off from the old Digg, and then roll out. That if they do that eventually, I think it's really good that Digg will be again up with a lot of features. If they're going to be really, really stubborn, I don't know. I feel like it wouldn't work.
I think.
Yeah, I think you're about to say something.
Yeah, hopefully they don't get all Steve Jobs on us and tell us what we want.
Oh, actually, I don't know how many of you read this. In that story written by California Eagle, I made a comment and then telling how they have never really listened to their users except for that big HD DVD key incident. Yeah. And I posted a couple of examples. And then there was this one guy who came and commented, posting the link to Mike Carrington's story, telling me, Digg listens to its users too much, blah, 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 blah. I was like, in that story, he actually writes about iPhone and how Steve Jobs single-handedly dealt it, blah blah blah. I told him, see, today that's the biggest internet joke for the past 1 month.
Exactly.
And Mike Carrington in that article uses Twitter, Facebook, and as example. Facebook has gone back on features so many times. Twitter exactly does what its users wanted. That retweet button is because what users wanted. And Mike Carrington's recommendation: don't listen to your users. Do what you feel like. That's why I strongly tend to think it's like, almost I feel like Mike Carrington is controlling what Digg is doing. And why is that every time Mike Carrington will be the person who leaks Digg? Leak. Why should always the same person, same website be leaking?
Yes, but what's his accuracy rate? I mean, how accurate is he when he leaks something? I would say less than 50%.
Over 40%.
Yeah. So I mean, it's no big task to leak something, to continuously leak something if you're not right most of the time.
I agree. We have another opinion that we're trying to bring in here, but I don't think it's made it in yet. So I'm going to stop mentioning it. But if you give him 5 leaks, 2 of them are going to be correct.
Yeah,
So.
but those 2 were probably the most obvious prognostications.
Mike Arrington hates power users, and that's I have to say, while I have a pulpit during the last few days of Digg, I appreciate what TechCrunch has been able to do. I have respect for Michael Arrington and what he's been able to accomplish in his lifetime. With that said, let's get the disclaimers out of the way. I do get annoyed when he rips on power users, and yet time and time again I see power users submitting TechCrunch. If I see I don't care how good of a friend you are. If I see you submit a TechCrunch, I won't dig it. Just not for any other reason, but because he doesn't like you. You who submitted this, you Digg power user, you who submitted it, he has come flat out and said that he hates you and wants you dead. And so I don't understand why you submitted. It's just saying. Just saying. Just saying.
All right.
So, and those who submit Gawker as well, Andy, I will not dig those either.
I don't submit Gawker, do I?
You submitted a Gawker a month ago, and I noticed it.
And
I
did
didn't
it
dig
hit
it.
the front page?
It hit the front page.
Yeah. There you go. Well, then you were not one of the thousands that dug that one then.
No, I was not. I was one of the ones who didn't dig it. I was one of the billions who are mad at Gawker and TechCrunch. Just saying. All right.
I have a strong feeling, how Mashable is to Twitter, TechCrunch is going to become for Digg. So whatever Mashable does, it will get thousands and thousands of retweets. You don't know how that's happening. Same thing will happen with TechCrunch on Digg.
Same thing will happen with what?
Same thing will happen with TechCrunch on Digg.
Like TechCrunch is going to become a preferred partner?
Yeah. I mean, Mashable always writes about Twitter and then they get all the attention. And so I think Mike Carrington wants to keep on writing about Digg, get all of Digg's attention and become like how Mashable is on Twitter.
I'm going to say that that's probably true.
So we're adding in Neil Rodriguez here via cell phone. If he answers.
Hello.
Neil, you're on the show.
I was expecting you guys on Skype. Get you guys, you hit me on a 1.0 platform. Feel that.
We're rocking them.
So, you actually did get on Skype. Look at that. You were asking to get a cell phone call, so I had to take a few minutes to try to find your cell phone number. So, Neil, so tell us about New Digg. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think that what they're trying to do is like a lot of what you guys are talking about. I think they've realized that they are a niche platform right now. You know what I'm saying? That they've actually realized that they're only catering to the people that like to see pregnant women balancing bottles on their pregnant bellies, and dudes, and photographers falling into holy water trying to photograph people getting married, trying to tie the knot or whatever. So they want to expand that audience, which I think is a big mistake. I don't think that they're going to make it. I'm thinking that the page view business is really dying right now. They've got a lot of trouble in terms of just driving page views. People that are not offering services, that are not looking for conversions, are really in big trouble because CPM rates keep on going down. Companies are not making money off of it. So, I mean, what they're going to put us in the position as diggers, they're taking us back to dodging Tyrannosaurus Rex, feet stomp, and cleaning off BP oil off of pterodactyls and stuff. So, I mean, my thing is not to depend on that platform anymore. Digg is just a pixel compared to all the platforms that are available. All the platforms that are available on the internet. That I was able to drive like about 7 million views to a Super Bowl channel during Super Bowl. I mean, albeit it was a widely popular commercial. It's something that has broad appeal. Nonetheless, a lot of that was done first off through Digg, secondly through a lot of Twitter outreach because people were paying attention to what was going on in real time. So that's not the only platform out there. There's people still driving conversions out of location-based services. There's guest posting still around it that you can go ahead and tap into other people's audiences. There's a number of ways for you to start to build your platforms, increase registrations, increase conversions, and place a page view. They were just talking about the other day how Reddit is a failing company with like about 280 billion or 280 million page views, something to that effect.
They actually clarified today that it's not 280, it's 400, I believe. Today they had a block.
Like that. They got some serious traffic going to them. The people got to pee on their own servers, so once they get on the front page of Reddit, and they still can't make any money off of it. So I think Digg is seeing themselves in that position where they're not making any type of money, but just driving raw page views for all these offbeat topics that are not bringing any type of money to the advertisers that are giving the money for it. I mean, I'm thinking Twitter is in the same situation too, because if you start to look at Twitter, nobody's clicking on links anymore on Twitter unless you're putting together some type of contest. If you got somebody following a hashtag, something in real time. I was looking, I think, at Kevin Rose's feed the other day. His tweets that he used to put out that were getting like about 19,000 views. They're getting like 1,000 views now. I saw this one dude. He's got like about I think Chris Bogan's account. He's putting out links. He gets like about 10 views.
Kevin tweeted a picture 24 hours ago, and it has 8,483 views.
8,403 views. Well, I mean that's real conservative compared to how it was before. Before, I remember with the tweet that I used to get, I got what did he? I got like 4 million followers. With the tweet I used to get, I got from Ashton Kutcher once. It got me like 19,000 views off a particular link. So I mean, I don't know. So I mean, I'm thinking that it's like, yeah, that's the Old Spice commercial. So Old Spice went off the hook with it.
Yeah, that was.
You got it.
That wasn't a good one. I saw that after I went to it.
Yeah, Old Spice got hits coming from Digg, got hits coming from people's blogs once he started shouting them out with his shirt off and telling them and telling everybody how the husband smelled like onions while he smelled good with his Old Spice body wash. But I mean, people they're not paying attention to all this randomness. I think that Digg wants to open up their gates. They want to open up the floodgates to try to bring in more, I guess, a different type of audience. People that are interested in marketing, people that are interested in baking, people that are interested in knitting, baby shoes, whatever the case may be. And they're just really diluting their brand right now. I mean, our role is to really try to understand what's going to happen. I mean, but only to a certain degree, and really look on building our own platforms.
So, Neil, I have a question for you. With the new Digg here. You spoke on from I guess a power user or someone a marketing or what do you call it, publishing standpoint. What about from the general user that goes to Digg right now and looks for a funny video or a funny image, those type of things? The general user, from their standpoint, how's new Digg?
Well, I don't think it's going to change that much because they're still going to see the top news section. So the top news section is still going to constitute a popular section.
But is it going to be any less, quote unquote, good? Like,
what I think it may hurt them. But the only reason that I think it may hurt them is because it's not the front page anymore. If they keep it as a link that you have to click in order to get to that popular section, that may stop the traffic that's being driven to it. When they see a bunch of odd stories being dug on a feed by all kinds of by their friends, I don't know what type of interest that's going to captivate, because people want to see the popular section. People always want to see what's on the front page of Google. I think one of the most popular studies cited was that 68% of people, they only click the websites on the first page. So they want to see what's on the first page, the popular section. So some people, I guess, they may click onto it. I mean, I was trying to make the argument in terms of how the Buzz Stumble Upon page used to still be popular, but I mean, Stumble Upon still gave you page views because of the way that the Stumble bar actually passed out your story virally. So that's how you also got page views as opposed to that Buzz Stumble Upon page, which was the popular section, which did not constitute the front page of the platform. So, I mean, if that's going to be the second page, we have to actually click it. That may hurt their traffic numbers. I think right now they're performing a micro test to determine whether the majority of people that log on to new.digg.com are going to be visiting that top news section. And if they find out that the percentage of people that are going to visit the top news section is going to drop, they may actually make that the front page, and they may not change the way things are. And power users may not lose as much authority as once thought. What do you guys think? What do you guys think that making the front page the top news section, where you have to actually click in order to get there, will that actually dilute the traffic levels that are being driven to that page?
I think you might. Well, no, I think definitely you're right actually on that. I'm guessing that they will be doing a lot of studies, and if they do flip the switch on this, they'll definitely be very, very, very closely monitoring traffic levels, and probably have some sort of comment suggestion box and force surveys on people as well. So absolutely, yeah.
No, absolutely. Well, what does the rest of the crew think?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm the resident new Digg apologist, so I'll hold my comments.
We sort of switched that role around, JD.
I know.
I'm looking at the top news, the most recent top news, and I'm not seeing, it doesn't surface the way the old Digg does. So, and I'm not even really clear on how that process works with the new Digg. So, for me, if I'm just coming onto the site and I'm not I'm not authenticated, I'm not logged in, or if I'm a casual user, I don't see that I see the same experience that I do with the old Digg, where let's go to Digg and find out what the new hot stories is. It's more like, let's go to Digg and find out what stories have been on there for a while. I don't see news stories being pushed out. It's more like a rise and fall, like Reddit, from what I can gather.
Oh,
and we won't even know when something entered the whole thing. There's no timestamp at all. That is the most annoying thing.
Mohan, that was exactly the. I only reported one suggestion to them so far, and that was the thing right there. You nailed it, because that's really what I use Digg for. I have been using Digg since I think it's 2004. Right after they first started it, and I go to the front page and I just scroll on down, and I keep going until I get to the day that I stopped looking at it on. And I like seeing when it was made popular, so you know how long ago that was, and you can see, okay, now I was there 12 hours ago. Okay, now I'm done. This is the last story I read. So absolutely, and that's also the number one reason why I don't use Reddit, because stories, you can't go and chronologically look at everything that's hit.
I had one more really strong thing. The thing is, they have this button called report. What does it mean? Does it mean report for spam, or what? What is report? You just click on the report button, and it's like, yeah, report is done. What did I report on? I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably for spam. And probably if enough people report it, it's like burying.
The reason is because they wanted to remove bury, but then the bury was a really useful feature. So many crappy posts which come to the front page would be taken off in like few seconds. Given that Reddit is very transparent in showing this upwards and downwards, most successful stories usually have about 66% to 70% of upwards, which means, translating to Digg, about 30% of the users actually bury your submissions. I have even had a total 404 page stay on Digg permanently, never get buried, just because they read the description, and the 404 was a custom 404. They just went by the description, it was able to stay there, which means you can imagine how much buries it got, and it still stayed there. If that could survive, you can see how much spam is going to survive now.
I have no comment.
I do have a comment, but it's again.
I think just like how I like something, I need to be able to indicate I don't like it, and you have just removed it.
Yeah. No, I think you're right about the report thing too. I mean, they just need to be. I think that's just an interface issue. They need to be clear about what they mean when they say report.
Yeah. Well, you guys are really, really bringing me down, because I want to love it, but apparently I can't, because everybody seems to hate it.
Well, I think the bottom line is it's still too early. I mean, I think that if you want to be optimistic about the new Digg, that it's still in alpha. They're collating all the feedback. They're not going to just polish it up and put it out there. Knock on wood. So yeah, no, I think it's still early. It's an alpha, not even a beta.
Definitely.
And my only thing, Andy, is if they show a slight sign that we are listening to you as the users on the whole, people would be like, okay, this is going to be okay, this is going to be okay. There are criticizing posts on the old Digg being submitted every 3 to 4 days. Usually the community manager who comments on everything else will even stay out of that post. No one will comment anything. They will make sure obviously it won't go to the front page. So you never even know whether they want to listen to it or not. They can just show that small indication that no, we are at least attempting to read these things. They don't want to even tell that.
And that goes back to like I have gone on time and time again for years about how they should have a specific forum, a forum specifically for users to address the Digg staff on a one-on-one basis in an open forum, something that the Digg staff addresses on a daily basis, and not just a one-to-one conversation via email or in the occasional post that just happens to be about Digg. There should be an open forum that Digg Digg is engaging in, so that we can engage in a discussion with them as well.
They are doing that a little bit on Twitter now, wouldn't you say?
No. It's about if you are a total new user, you say something like I cannot sign in or something, they'll really address it. If you come with an advanced problem, they'll say send us an email.
That's true.
No, that's not the case. What they really should do is they should just come on the Social Blade show next week, and we'll invite everybody who's currently on the show back to question them. Kevin, whoever it is, please just come. I'm not going to ask again. So. I'll ask 8 times. I'm about to tweet it about 15 times a day. Kevin, come to Social Blade next week.
I'll bring the hood and the bucket full of water to do the waterboarding.
If Digg, if you guys are listening, you can email us at thesocialblade@gmail.com.
I mean, I want to. Are you guys hearing me? Hello?
Huh?
Okay. I want to point a particular incident. You are all, we are all frequent submitters. The day they implemented the new dupe engine system, the very same day, I captured a screenshot of it and posted. And obviously, that was the day where all blogs had this huge Digg irony about the dupe check system with two stories about the same dupe check engine on the first page, continuously running.
That was hilarious.
Right. And so, this Digg, the programmer who was a part of the team, was commenting on these things, and I told him explicitly, telling, you know what, you got rid of the whole metadata which was available for pictures. People submit title, people submit a description. You just, when it's a picture, you just let it go away. And you had this nice, the IDE, which is part of the Tiny. They used to have this image check system before this. Why did you get rid of that? You should still have this. And then after people submit the metadata, which is the title and description, you should still keep checking why are you not doing it. He was like, no, it's really good comment. I totally agree with you. I'll take it back to my table. We in the next meeting we will discuss it. Very soon it will be fixed. And then it never. The dupe check system is now almost 7 months, 8 months old. That problem still exists. Why can't they even fix such tiny things? The main thing is, it's more like a typical Steve Jobs behavior. I will do what I want.
They promised to fix the dupe checker back during World War II, and it's been just as broken ever since. So
they promised a forum too.
What?
They promised a forum and to give me a private jet to go check out the new Digg lot 6 months ago. So.
And they promised me a T-shirt for my 500th front page, and I'm on over 600 now. So. I
got a good lawyer that could follow up with a lawsuit. If you're
I need it. I want my dang shirt. All right, my dang shirt better be coming in the mail. But more importantly, I will actually forego suing over the shirt if you guys just come and address our concerns next week on the Social Blade Show. Thank you, Andrew Sorcini, Mohan, Neil. You guys have been an amazing batch of guests tonight. I think we got quite a bit accomplished. Hopefully we got some things off our chest, and hopefully somebody is listening, and maybe they'll address some of this stuff. I'd like to thank the audience tonight. Very, very active and impressive audience as always. For those who don't know, this is our 1 year anniversary. The Social Blade Show has been on.
Invading the internet.
Yay! Congratulations.
What did you say?
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're catching up to the the drill down. Except it seems that every week we get a step closer, and then they get a step further away. I don't know how that works, but we just can't seem to make up any ground on them. We might actually move to bi-weekly just to catch up with them. No, we won't.
Or just keep falling asleep.
Exactly. Don't talk about that. Don't forget, go to YouTube and tell YouTube that you want to see the Social Blade Show get lots of money. Send them an email. You can also follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/socialblade. Follow us on Facebook, or like us on Facebook, as Aaron would say, facebook.com/socialblade. And you can probably figure out what our moniker is on Twitter as well, so I'm not even going to repeat it. Please, if you have a guest suggestion, and this week I think the guest suggestion should definitely be Kevin Rose, so make sure to send @Digg and @Kevin Rose. Please join the Social Blade Show next Thursday. Tweet that out to him. He checks his Twitter every day. But if you want to suggest another guest, you can do that from our blog. You can also see our past guests and read our thoughts and perspectives on social media. You can even contribute as we have our first guest contribution this week. It's either up or will be up shortly.
No, it's been up.
Follow us on get SMS updates of when we go live, as well as when other shows such as Ask Outcast Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, Band on the Web Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern. The Drill Down at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. And, of course, we're on Thursdays, 7 p.m. Pacific. I don't know what that means in Eastern or Nova Scotia time, but I know that in the Pacific, Pacific Coast out in California at 7 p.m. on Thursdays.
And you go to
Don't care. I do it in
j.mp/subus.
reverse order, man.
Okay, just making sure you didn't forget.
Backwards, I do things. Okay. Hey-oh. Anyway, so yeah, great show tonight, guys. Thank you for staying on for so long. This was our longest show in recent memory, and hopefully not our last. Hopefully next week it'll be even longer because we'll be roasting a rose or two. A rose by any other name smells like something when it's roasting. Don't forget, we are Social Blade.